This conference will now be recorded.
I guess. Okay, let me discuss here. Okay, fine. Today we are going to discuss about the Docker. Okay, Docker tool. This tool is a what? Why we are going to use? We'll discuss completely. Now this tool we are calling as a containerization tool. Containerization tool. Containerization. It comes under the containerization technology. Okay, why and how and all we are going to discuss. Okay. Okay, fine. Leave it about that 5 to 10 minutes about Docker. Why the Docker came into the picture, how our application will be in the market. That we'll discuss first. Okay. Now, for example, you want your things go to in the somewhere place. Some you are shifting from Hyderabad to Bangalore or somewhere. Now, how you are going to ship the your things? You are, I guess, will go for any packers and they will bring one big container and they will ship to your things, right? Now it's normally if you do that one things, it will take a lot of space and lot of time. It will take, instead of that, they will take a big container and they will put all things in one place and they will be moved to the one place to another place. That is a real world example in right container. Like even the containers in the we are using the kitchens, right? Storing something containers, right? The same here also. Here what happened in the normal how we are going to do earlier days. For example, you want to communicate one application. First example, UI application they deployed one place, and business logic and databases and servers, okay, and deployment servers and DB and different deployed to the different servers. Now instead of that, they are grouping everything on one place and they've wrapped thing and they are going to deploy the application. That is for it's a one image, one container is everything is that is whatever we require to run our application, that everything they will put together and they will run that as a container. Like for example, I need one Linux. If you want to run our application, what are the things we require? We require Linux and we require some softwares, we require some configuration files, and right, we require a servers, we require a database. These are the things we require, right? Instead of like as we need to do one thing to one server, all we'll do like as our applications, Linux servers, and also softwares, everything will put into one file. That file will make it as a image. That image we are going to run as a container. How it will work? Like let me first your instructions. Like instruction means I want to this OS I need to use and I need to copy these files. I need to execute my program. I need to start my server. All things were make it as an instruction. This instruction we write as a one file. Okay, that file. And then after that we build a image. This instruction we build a image. After building we run a this image. Run image. It will work as a what? It will give a container. It will give a container for us. Okay, that container is contains what? Actual application is running inside a container. Actual application, whatever the application we written as a instructions, that instructions run as a container. That instructions run as a container. That container we are able to access outside of the world. And how we are giving the instructions, how make it an image, how we can run that image, how to make it as a container, how the two containers can communicate to each other. Those will learn the in coming classes. Okay, clear? This is a containerization definition basically. And this Docker is the what? This is a basically is written into the Go language. Okay, and the main thing is for what is Go. This language is the reduce the reduce the resource utilization to run our application. Resource utilization to run our applications. Whatever we build some application, for example, your application is 100 MB, but what happened? 100 MB application we get the complete BM. You want to take a one BM. Yeah, actually it's a little bit good, I think so. I hope it was good. Yes, can you hear me properly?
సారీ నాకైతే వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది. మేబీ
That's what I'm asking, Raghavendra. You guys, can you hear me? Now,
ఇప్పుడు
hear
క్లియర్
you, right?
వినిపిస్తుంది.
Okay, fine. Now, basically, we are using application for to read. అవునా లేదు గోపి, బాగానే ఉంది నెట్వర్క్.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Now, if you want to specifically, if you want to make it as your application to run in any servers, if you want to take a one VM, that VM it should be at least 1 GB RAM and 15 GB hard disk we should be take, right? Now we deploy on the in this VM. If you go for any virtualization technology, now in the same way, if you go for any container technology, we don't need to specify for the this much RAM and this much hard disk to utilize our application. It will take the automatically how much size the application is need to be used, that much size it will take the automatically. We no need to require to give the space to run our applications. That is the main thing in the this container technology. Okay, is one of the container technology is the Go in the Docker. Okay, this developed in the through Go, and we have the there is a lot of container technology in the market. They're from the VM guys have one Michael guy own VM, but their technology is not that much popular. Okay, now it's a Docker is a completely open source, and they have the two versions they release. One is the CE version and enterprise version. What does CE means? This community edition. This is for we need to no need to pay anything. Okay, we can use, and enterprise they will give us some support to write the Docker files and to maintain in the our application center. Okay, they will support for the develop the applications. Okay, that is for the enterprise level. Then we get the like as background support from the companies, Docker company. Okay, this is for the enterprise. So mostly companies are using for the maybe CE only. Okay, community additionally they will use. Okay, price. Okay, it's a little bit spelling mistakes now, it's not required, I think so. Okay, that's fine. Now how the VM look like, how the architecture in the VM will, if you go for, then I will show that. Let me take a paint. Let me discuss about the VM and versus with the Docker. Okay, let me discuss the VM versus the Docker. For example, if you want to install the any VM on your host machine, what are things we should take care? For this is, for example, it is a hardware file my wish system. It's very important, guys. Okay, this is the hardware. This is the hardware. On the top of the hardware, what we have in this? We have a what? Guys, few days, guys. Actually, 3 days only. Okay, I will go for Bangalore back. Okay, hardware. This is the OS. Okay, this is the OS. Then next, what we install here? On top of this, we should be install the any one of the hypervisor, right? What is hypervisor here? Like as VMware, VirtualBox, okay, VM player, those are the hypervisors. On top of that, what we install? We install our guest OS. For particular, we'll take one VM. That VM we need to take, and we install the our one guest OS in this here. Guest OS we install, and then top of that, what we are going to do? We are going to do here our applications and libraries will install, right? Application and libraries. application libraries. If you want to create one more instance, one more VM, we'll take the one more here, 1 GB RAM and 15 GB hard disk, and then we are going to install the another guest OS here, another guest OS, and then guest OS means that Ubuntu, CentOS, CoreOS, right? That is we are calling guest OS. Guest OS is not a it's not a software. Okay, just I am saying that guest OS doesn't mean it is a CentOS, Ubuntu, Red Hat, whatever it may be, that Linux flavor, whatever you choose, that minimal version or like that kind of flavors. Okay, that flavors. Guest OS means that any flavor. Okay, now it go for app and libraries. App and libraries. Now, even though if it's the same application with the same libraries, we can't shareable here. See, this is the dedicated for the server for the same application, these libraries, the same application libraries. Now here, for example, you are running the 100 MB application here, 100 MB application, the same instance you want to create the same server. What you should do? You should be take 100 server like as this 100 MB, you can take it, like RS 10 MB, you can take it. Okay, and remaining what are the VM we dedicated for this, you must be leave it about that. Nothing we can't use for the other purpose. Even you want, you can use, but you can't be apply the same application in the same servers, right? Why? It may be having the, it may be, if you go for the server crash, everything will be gone. That's why we'll go for the number of servers. Why we are going to deploy the same application number of servers? Why does it mean? For high availability purpose. Because of one server will goes wrong, some other server will give the response to the my clients. Okay, that is for high availability purpose. Okay, this is for the basically our VM architecture. Now let's go for the continuation technology architecture. For example, this basically this like Docker is a purely for meant for the Linux flavors. That recently that Windows 10 it will work as a Docker. Okay, we can install the Docker in a Windows 10 machine, but we can't install in the Windows 8.1 or 8.7, or we can't install. Okay, now recently they released for the Windows 10 as well. Okay, now this is a hardware, this is a hardware, and here next the same one OS in this top of this. Take our OS. Okay, OS means Windows 10, whatever it may be OS. Okay, that OS, and then next here we don't need to install the any hypervisor. Very important, we don't need to install the any hypervisor and all. What we should install here, you must be install the only Docker daemon. Just we need to require install the Docker daemon only. Then next, what we need to do here, we don't want to install the any guest OS, nothing. Just use the our application and just our applications and libraries. We don't need to install the any guest OS here. Just we can use for the, for example, the same application using the multiple same libraries, right? Now we can, this library is also shareable. For example, this, for example, this is the libraries, and the same application using the same libraries also, this library is also shareable. Okay, this application and this application, the if you are the both applications are using shared libraries, it will be using the shared libraries. How and all we'll see in the hands on, we'll get more clear on this. Now this Docker is a completely on the layer structure. Okay, remember it is a completely on the layer structure. What is layer structure means? Here we are, I told you, right, we are defining the instructions. There is a one line, you can Docker file, if you write the 10 lines, each line is a one instruction. That is a each line is a one instruction, means each line it will create as a one layer. If you the same command, if you use for the another Docker file, that could be create a, it won't create the again same layer, it will do use for the previous layer. How and all I will see hands on, then we'll get more clear on this. Okay, remember, just this is a layer structure, just remind this word, and we'll come back to here on this. Okay, now here what will happen, here we don't need to specify for the run the specific RAM and application. How much your application 10 MB, 10 MB application it will take. Other than that, it won't take the more resource at all. Clear now? This architecture. This is the VM level architecture. This is the Docker level architecture. Okay. The VM where the main reason here is the resource allocation. Resource utilization is the very less in the VM level. How and all? I will show you that. For example, I will give the small example. For example, if you want to install the one Ubuntu mission, Ubuntu software, how much size it will be? Minimum it is a 2 GB, right? One Ubuntu software, how much GB it will come? 2 GB, right? Here the same Ubuntu, how much GB it will come? You know, this will come the 50 MB maximum, like 50 or 30 MB. 30 MB, I think. I will show that also. It's a 30 MB Ubuntu software we can install using the container technology. 2 GB and 30 MB. How much size we are using? That much size it can be compatible for the Docker technology. How and all I will show that very clearly. I will show that. Okay. Clear, guys? Any questions on the VM and Docker architecture? Any questions, guys?
ఓన్లీ సర్వీస్ కంటైనరైజేషన్ అవుతుంది అక్కడ, లేకపోతే మొత్తం సర్వర్ కంటైనరైజేషన్ అవుతుండే అండి అది?
Everything grouping up that we can see in the hands-on will get more clear. Like as application, servers, code, everything will put into one place and will run as a container.
Okay.
Have you cleared this architecture level? We'll see that. We'll see the hands-on and you will get more clear how it will works. Okay. Just I'm asking that this is a VM architecture and like Docker architecture. Are you understand on this one? Here, this is we are dedicated the guest wise we install here. Here we don't need to guest wise install here. And these libraries are the shareable. These libraries are not shareable. And this is we dedicate the resource to run our application here. We don't dedicate the run our application, and it's a very lightweight to take a resource to run our application. Here is the heavyweight. It will take the resource to run our application. The main reason for the Docker is to reduce the resource utilization. That is the main reason, to reduce the resource utilization, resource allocation. Okay, clear? And even we can deploy our application to very simple, like as deployment time it will go reduce for the months to minutes. That is the Docker documentation they will tell us. It will reduce from the months to minutes. That's why it will, most of the companies are using the Docker nowadays. Okay, now earlier days what happened that earlier when we are child that time, right, how it will look like we are seeing, we can't see, but we are heard about, right, monolithic applications, that everything, all applications are grouping tightly coupled. Now what happened nowadays, all the decoupled, right? There is a, if you want to develop one application, each application the 100 microservices. Okay, and 100 microservices means individual development. They don't have a dependency on that to run, to develop a one application code to another application. They don't need to wait for the one person to develop complete, then another person will go for developing. It's not be like that nowadays. What happened, it's completely on, depends on the dividing that. What are the tasks you have to do? That is your own dependency. That you don't need to depend for the other persons. That is the main reason for the decoupling nowadays, distributed applications. Okay, that's each microservice we are deploying as a one container. Clear now? That is high level architecture we are going to use in the nowadays. Okay, now each, why this microservice came into the picture means microservice, it's a complete and the distributed our application. You know, in the same application we have 100 microservices, 200 microservices, 300 microservices, even we have the 500 microservices. If it is big applications, there will be like that. Okay, it's not depends on the one developer or another developer. They don't need to wait for the once completed the work, another they will start, because of it's a distributed, the work is distributed and divided. How they will communicate means they will provide the REST API. They will communicate with the REST calls. What is the REST API and all? We'll discuss if you want. Okay, clear? What is the REST API? Now you want talking to some one server to another server. That is the mean REST API. I will give the one best example. What is the REST API? For example, you have the one ATM, right? For example, you have the SBI ATM, and you can go for the another bank, like as Axis Bank. You can go and you can take the money. How we can taking this? Now you are putting the card and they will give the instruction to the Axis Bank guy. I have, this is my PIN number and all. What they will do? They will ask the SBI bank How they will talk? They will talk this is the protocols like as REST API protocols they will talk, or REST API or SOAP based protocols they will talk, and they will send some metadata. This is the guy account number, this much PIN number they enter, how much amount he has. Okay, if it is compatible with your amount, whatever you enter, and it will give the amount for you. How they will, the both will talk to each other. They have the some communication between the web service. It will there. The web service will talk to the different companies. Okay, clear now? That is also that is a Java based application. The Java guys should know very well. Okay, now just I'm giving a sample example, one example. Clear guys? Clear now? And we'll see that I have the diagrams here. Okay, now let's see, you will get more clear now again. Okay, now if you want to ship your things, what we'll do, we'll shipping the different small things, right? Now instead of going for shipping one thing in the, this is the real world and this is a software world. Okay, what it is, for example, static website, user database, queuing things, analytics DB, background workers, web interface, API endpoint, different applications we have. What we'll do, we deploy into the one development QA servers, customers data center, data recovery, and production servers. This is a different servers we are going to deploy in the one application to one server. Instead of that, what we will do nowadays, if in normal way, all things will put in big container, will ship into anyone you can use and we can ship it. Simple. And then the same way we are putting all this website and the one Docker container. This Docker container will be run into anywhere. Okay, the slogan for this Docker is, what is that? Let me show you. Build, ship, run. Okay, build the image, push to anywhere, run into anywhere, wherever you want. Push to somewhere and run into anywhere. Where you can push, maybe Docker Hub, or maybe your private repository, or JFrog, Nexus, S3 buckets also we can use for the containers. S3 bucket never. This is a JFrog and Nexus also we can use the Docker container story. Now how it will works, this is the, for example, we create a image and we push to image to Docker Hub. Like as GitHub also we have the Docker Hub for storing the Docker images purpose. This is a public cloud we can use for anyone, but they will give the five images we can store as a private. If you want to more than that, you want to store as a private repository, you need to pay for them. Okay, Docker Hub is a like as GitHub for storing your Docker images. It is a public image. Publicly anyone can download your image, anyone can use that your image. Okay, anyone can use your image. If you don't want to use someone use that image, what will do, they will buy the some space in the Docker Hub, they will use the Docker Hub, or else what they will do, they will get their own private repository, or else they will use the Nexus repository, or else they will use the JFrog repository to store the images. I will teach you that Docker Hub and private repository also. Okay, both I will teach you. Okay, how the use the Docker private repository, how to install, how to use that, and everything we're going to see. Okay, now next, and then we can pull the image, and then after pulling we can run the image. Here we are building the image, build one place and push to Docker Hub and pull to any server and run into as a container. This is our entire course will go for. This is the way we build something image, we push to Docker Hub, and that's for backupping purpose. Okay, even if you build image and you can run into the same machine also. If you don't want to run the same machine, what will do, for backupping purpose we are pushing this code, this image to somewhere, that is a Docker Hub or your Docker private repository. Okay, that we're going to see later on. Okay, now this Docker will work on the this client server architecture only. How and all, let me show you. Because of this Docker we need to install the one software, right? That software we are calling as a Docker daemon, Docker engine, that Docker software you are installing, right? That is we are calling as a Docker engine. Okay, now I'll show the one image here. This is a normal way. Let's see how the earlier the software will be. It's a monolithic application, long development life cycle, single environment, slowly scale up. Now it is a completely decoupled services, fast interactive, multiple environments, quickly scale out. Okay, the result of Docker, if you use a Docker, what will happen, it will be development to production 9 months to 15 minutes of time, it will decrease that much, because of it's completely automate, right? and it will be the very less to implement the taking the server's configuration, something. That how and all, we'll see the answer, we'll get more clear. Okay, now this is the Docker architecture. I'll show here. Think it is this client and host mission where you install that Docker, right? Docker install the Docker software that we are calling as a Docker host mission. Okay, for example, if I install Ubuntu server, that is I install as a Docker software that we are calling as a Docker host mission. Okay, for example, the client means the Docker command line interface is right, Docker CLI, that we are calling as a Docker client. Okay, that we can use for building images, pulling run images, running images, all Docker commands we are going to use. That we are asking as a, we're telling as a Docker client. Docker client means Docker commands, or wherever we are executing the Docker commands, that we are calling as a Docker client. And where it will be run, the storing images and will be stored in the same mission, in the mission. If you run as a container, it will run. If you want to push this image, we can push into registry. This registry as a Docker Hub registry or private registry. Registry means that is the storing the Docker images. Okay, this where you install the Docker, that we are calling as a Docker host mission. What are the commands we are executing, right? That is a client. That is a client. So client means there is nothing. Then in the same mission only we are executing the some commands, right? That commands we are telling as a Docker client commands. Okay, that Docker CLI, using the Docker CLI, like as that CLI we are saying that there is a client. Okay, that I will show that. Okay, clear now? Now if it is Windows, right? Windows command prompt we are open, right? What is that MS DOS, right? That is what does mean. That is for Windows client, right? Like that, if it is Linux, shell is the client. Now this Docker, we have the some client, that is we are using the Docker CLI. Okay, if it is Maven, if you are installing Git CLI, it is there, right? For managing your Git code and all. Like that, if you want to manage your Docker code, we are using the Docker CLI. That's it. Command line interface. Okay, that I will show. We'll discuss. Clear, guys? This architecture, and this is Docker daemon means where you install this Docker software, that will be calling as a Docker daemon, Docker engine. Okay, now after we are creating images, that image will be in the same mission, and then will run as a container. After building image, we are running as a container, that will be run as a container. This can be useful, but image there is no nothing, it's a just image. Okay, for image nothing but just we bought the new mobile phone. If it is run container means after putting simming charging, that it will run as the application, right? That is a container. Simple. That is small example I'm saying. Okay, that is image contains, that is a new mobile you bought, that's it. It don't have a charging, it don't have any sim and all. When it will come, when you run as a image as a container, then only it will useful. It is useful. The image is nothing useful. This image contains the what, all things, what are the things we require our software application running, that we are grouping everything in the one image. Clear, guys? That will discuss in depth more coming classes. Just remind this image. Okay, there is a client, there is a Docker image and running as a container, and after image you want to store backup, we are using the any registry. Okay, simple. And then next, okay, this is what we just discussed, right? That is a container versus VMs. This is if you see here, this is the, like for example, this Windows server or anything, and install the any OS, host mission and hypervisor, and then we are installing the guest OS and app and libraries. Okay, here you can see in the VM, like as in the Docker level, server poses, and the Docker engine we are going to install, and then we are going to use the application and the libraries here. Application and libraries here. Clear, guys? Clear? Clear now? That's what is the difference and all. This is what. Okay, this image is the one of the difference, and also virtualization depends on the traditional virtualization. They can be considered as a hardware level virtualization. It is a OS level virtualization. Okay, each virtualization machine contains the guest OS, libraries and all. Here it's not, there is no guest OS, nothing. It is the size of the virtual machine is the in order of GBs. It is the in order of MBs. Okay, that is the main reason. You can read it about this documentation as this. What is the Docker image, right? This is the layers, whatever we discussed, right? Every command is run as a layer, and how one are will see that. Okay, if this Docker will take our kernel, what is the OS we are going to use, right? That is the base it will take. Okay, now these are the our whatever we are going to use, that base image and image, everything is the one image, one layer. Okay, that we'll see that. We'll come back here this image after installing something. Clear guys? Theoretically, I hope you guys are understand the what is exactly Docker, how we are going to use the Docker, what is the difference between the Docker VM. This very important concept for an interview. Okay, what is the difference between the VM and container? Docker containers means there will be, we need to use dedicated the resource for the in VM level. This is a completely on the, here it is a like as virtualization is a completely on depends on the your when if you want to run any application, it will be dedicated for that server, and here how much size it will be used, that much size today it will be take the GBs of space to run our application. Here is the MB server, MB space we can use run our application. Clear? Any questions guys? And we'll install Docker also today. We'll install Docker also. Clear guys? Any questions? And coming classes will get to know like what is exactly and what is the image, what is container. Don't confuse here. Just think image is a nothing but it contains the whatever we require things. After running that image, it will run as a container. Simple, 2 words. And what is the terminology we are going to use here? I will show here. Here, Docker daemon. Docker daemon means where we install the Docker daemon. That is the Docker daemon we are calling, and that is a Docker engine only. Okay, Docker engine means, and then here image means it contains the all instructions, only instructions contains. After running image, it will run as a, we are calling as a container. And then Docker hub is the storing the Docker images, and then we are calling as the registry. Registry is the private registry to store your privately, like we don't need to use the Docker hub, we can use for your own private registry also. How and all we are going to see that this is a private Docker registry. Okay, then next, that is CLI, right? CLI means command line interface, Docker CLI, where we are using the Docker commands, Docker CLI. Okay, and here we are going to discuss some of the things like as some of the components is there. Docker, the mainly is the Docker CLI and Docker compose. Okay, and Docker CLI, Docker compose, Docker swarm. Okay, Docker CLI, Docker compose, Docker mission also is there. Okay, now we are going, Docker mission is nothing but it will download one software along with the Docker software installation. Okay, simple, nothing is there. Okay, Docker compose is, we'll discuss this, and Docker swarm is also we are maintaining the Docker containers, we'll discuss. This is the main things are there in Docker level. And then next, what is the terminals we are going to use? The main thing, the main is the we are going to use the, these are the terminology we are going to use this. Clear? That how and all we're just that think that image container, this is the two. And here we're going to discuss one more thing, very important, Docker file. Docker file. Okay, in this file only we are writing the instructions. Okay, this is the main, this is a, if the custom image you want to create your own image, we are going to write the all instructions in this file only. The file name should be Docker file, the file name should be Docker file. It look like this one, D is the capital and Docker file. In the Jenkins we are going to do right same. In the Jenkins file we are writing right all our pipeline code, declarative pipeline and script based pipeline, right? That is a J capital Jenkins file. Okay, this Jenkins file, Docker file contains the Docker instruction, Jenkins file contains the pipeline code. Okay, don't confuse here, Docker file. That's why we are learning for Git means we are writing the Jenkins files, Docker files, scripteds. Okay, like as Python scripts and also like a shell script, whatever script we are going to use. Now that is also we are pushing to where in the GitHub only, GitHub or Bitbucket. That's why we need to learn the Git. Okay, even if you go for any again Kubernetes concept, right, that there is also we are writing some YAML scripting that we are going to, even Ansible, if you go for Ansible, there also we are going to use for the playbooks. That is also we need to push into the repository, GitHub repository. That we are going to see. Clear, guys? That's why we need to learn the Git mandatory. Okay, because of we are also using the Git. Not only developers, we are also DevOps, right? We are also writing, developing something coding level to infrastructure maintaining, okay, deployment, CI/CD, everything. Clear, guys? Terminology and all. Now we are going to create a one VM in AWS account. Let me log in my AWS account. Just I will install today, and tomorrow we are going to practice. Okay, all commands we are going to practice. And whatever, guys, I have the documentation for Ubuntu, I have a documentation for CentOS, I have a documentation for this AMI Linux tool. Whatever your wish, we can practice that. I will give the 3 documents also. Okay, and Windows simple, that's if Windows 10 we can able to install, but Windows 7 and 8 in my system I can't. If you want to install the Docker, it's separate, not only AWS. What you should do, you need to install the one VM, Oracle VirtualBox. Then you must to install any Linux flavor on that. On top of that, you need to install the Docker. It's needed Linux server, that's it. It's needed Linux servers. Now I'm going to get a new instance here, Linux instance. I'm going to select the AMI Linux tool here. It won't come along with the Docker. We need to install the Docker here. I will see. Let's see here. Next, add storage, 8 GB. That's not required for me. 22 SH and launch. And this is the key. I'm going to use the water. I already have the key pair. That's why I'm going to use this AWS demo DVS. Now it's created the instance. Let it come up. Once it come up, we need to connect this. Now before that, I'm going to use for the mobile XTOM to connecting my AWS instance. Putty, right? And mobile XTOM also for we can use the. This is a Linux terminal. It is a Linux terminal. When we discuss, right? When you are discuss the Linux commands, that time we discuss this line mobile XTOM. Okay. Now I need to go with the where my AWS PM file is located. It's not required the PPK file here. If you want to connect with the putty, we require a PPK file. If you want to connect with the mobile XTOM, we need a PM file. Remember, if you want to connect with the putty, we need to require a PPK file. If you want to connect with the mobile XTOM, we require a PM file. Okay. CD. In this folder, I have the all my AWS. Wherever you are putting, you need to go over CD command. Okay. Now here I have the my key. This is the key I have. This PM file. This PM file I need to require. Okay. If you connect here, even they will give us instruction here. Just click connect here option. Don't use the any other services if until unless you don't know the options. Okay. Now we need to give that permission for and only read only permissions for that PM file, and then we can use this SSH command. I already given the 400 permissions. If you want, I will execute one more time. This is the command, and it must be go this path. Okay, I given the 400 permission, and then I'm going to use the this connection SSH. I have written this documentation. Okay, the simple commands. Let it be connect once. Okay, it's connected. Okay, now see Docker hyphen version. Docker is there or not? There is no Docker in this mission. That's why I'm going to install the Docker in this mission now. Sorry, even Docker command also there. The version command also. Let me. See, oh, you feel like as a version spelling is mistake, right? It's even Docker command also is not there. Okay, now What we'll do once we take the instance, any new instance, what you must do, you might need to update the instance. Any new libraries are came or not, you need to update that. Just update the our mission. It is a AML Linux, right? It can be used for the install is the M. If it is Ubuntu, you need to go with the apt instance. Okay, just install the just update the my system. Then after that, what you need to do, we need to take the our just yum install docker hyphen y hyphen y. There is will ask the yes or no, right? That will be yes. Okay, now let's start the docker service. Now for example, if you do, even now also will get the same docker hyphen version. You can type now. What will happen? We need to docker command is there. Let me check. Docker hyphen b even hyphen version even b. Docker is installed now. For example, docker images. Just type with the docker info. It will give the complete docker information. It's saying that yes, docker daemon is running, means docker service is started. Now we need to start the docker service now. Start the docker service. Now check the docker info command. Docker -b command will give you the which version you are installing the docker. Docker version 18.06.1 community edition we install. This is the build number. It is the docker build number. Okay, what is the build number? We are building the image like as through CA, right? Jenkins file. We are telling the build number, right? Like that, this is one of the build number. Okay, no worries about that. See what is saying that docker info. It is saying the permission denied issue because of this whatever this EC2 user, right? This EC2 user don't have a permission to run the docker command directly. It's needed a root permissions. If you want to do sudo docker info, it will give the complete information about the docker. What is how many images you have, how many containers you have, okay, how many stopped containers are there, what is the server version you are using, what is the driver it is using. Okay, all about our like as docker daemon level. It will give the complete information about my docker mission. Okay, now it's we are using the sudo, right? Now I feel like I don't want to use the sudo. I don't want to use the sudo every command level. If you do the any command, for example, if you want to run the docker, like as you want to check your images means this is wrapping applications, right? In this command you can run this command. It will give the what are the images is available in local machine. It will give the list out the all images. Now what happened, showing that permission denied, right? Now if you want to run that, what you should give, every command in front of that sudo you must be give. Now you feel that I don't want to use the sudo, then what you should do, you should do the you need to add EC2 user 2 in our docker group. This is the command. Use the sudo usermod -ag group is the docker and add the EC2 user. We are adding our EC2 user into our docker group. Once you are adding this same terminal, it won't work. You need to take the new terminal, or else you need to restart the your server. Now you can take the new terminal. Okay, now what I need to do, I need to go with this path cd devops AWS keys, and then I need to reconnect my server. After adding the user, you must be take the new terminal or else another one. In Ubuntu there is an option called as another options. Okay, even that is also same thing we can do. I will show that how to install that. Even the Ubuntu is a little bit lengthy process to install the docker. I have written that notes for that. Okay, anybody interested, you can try that also. Okay, now see that I don't want to use the sudo in front of this. Now I can simply use the Docker images. Nothing, it won't ask the sudo now. Simply anything, Docker info. Simply again, without sudo we can use that. Because of that, what are the user you log in, you don't have a permission to run the Docker commands directly. Now once you add the that user into Docker group, we can able to access that Docker commands without root permissions, sudo permissions. Okay, clear guys? This is we install the Docker now. Now next we are going to discuss about the lot of commands. Today 3 commands we discussed. One is the remember all commands. Tomorrow once Docker V is the, you install the Docker which flavor Docker is installed or not, you need to check. You need to check with the Docker V. And Docker info, what it will give, it will give the complete your Docker local server information. What are the images are there, how many images are there, how many images are there, how many contents are running, how many stopped contents are there. Okay, what are the network it is using, everything it will give the that information. And the next we discussed about the Docker images. What are the your local images you have, it will be restored the your images. I don't have a, as of now this is a fresh mission. Even I did not pull the any images, I did not build the any images, I did not use the any build the images. Clear guys up to now? And tomorrow what we are going to do, tomorrow we are going to be pull some images, existing images. Existing image means I want to download the Ubuntu software, I want to download for the like as some all over applications and all clock application. This is existing image we are going to do. We'll get some custom images, we write the, after that we next class we are going to write the our Docker files, custom Docker files, our own instructions, our own code, our own servers I need to build. Okay, we'll discuss in depth level. Now I guys, I hope you guys are understand something about the Docker today, right? Clear guys? Just do the practice this. And even I have written the notes for Ubuntu also. And I'm going to share this document maximum. I think I have shared, I think Docker, let me check. If it not, I will upload today. And this Docker tutorial by Madhu, I hope. I've written all commands in one place. Okay, even more than that it will come. This is man. This is for installing the Ubuntu, installing Docker on Ubuntu. These are the steps you need to be follow this. Guys, can you hear me? Okay, now actually my mobile got charges out. I forgot to put in charging now. Okay, now here that document I'll show that actually I have created document for that also. This one, install Docker on Ubuntu 18.4. I have a single document also. I'm going to share this document. Okay. I'm going to share the both ways. Whatever you want, you can try it. Okay, clear guys? Any questions guys? And upcoming classes we will get to know like what is exactly image.